Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Aviation Podcast, where we bring you the coolest stories from the skies. Today we have someone special who just doesn't fly airplanes, who hovers and lands in the wildest places you can't imagine. Yes, today we have a special guest, a helicopter pilot. Welcome to the show, Captain Narendra.
Thank you.
What got you into the helicopter flying?
Well, it's a long story. After college, I joined the army because I didn't want to study. I thought there's too much of studying otherwise. I joined the army. After 2 years, I thought, okay, there's too much studying in the army, also in artillery, where I was commissioned.
Okay.
Let me get into flying. Flying seems to be more jazz.
Okay.
So I
More
applied for
jazz.
aviation, got through.
Okay.
And since the army operates only helicopters, after my fixed wing training, I shifted to helicopters. This was way back in 92.
Okay. Helicopter flying seems to be very different from the fixed wings. What's the most exciting part that you feel?
Basically, helicopters are not meant to fly. They are basically a collection of nuts and bolts, engines and components, which turn in all directions, are controlled by a pilot who tries and makes them fly. So, a chopper pilot like me who's flown fixed wing can also fly a fixed wing, but a normal fixed wing pilot cannot fly a helicopter without training.
Oh, okay. Wow.
That's the basic difference. There are chopper pilots and there are proper pilots.
Okay. Okay. So you enjoy every part of this?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. How do you feel the job in India right now? How's the market in India for the helicopter pilots?
Sadly, in India, people are not aware of the potential of helicopters.
Yes.
Being a helicopter pilot and in the civil industry for about 15 years, I can confidently say a helicopter market in India is actually better than the fixed wing market if people come with a license. There's a critical shortage of pilots. There are no helicopter pilots available except the armed forces and probably 1 or 2 pilots a year who train abroad and come.
Only one or two?
That's all.
Okay. Why is that? Why do you feel that is a
The
shortage?
cost of training of helicopters and operation is about 4 to 5 times that of fixed wing.
Okay.
That's the basic difference.
Okay. And what do you
And the glamour is not there of wearing a blue and white and Ray-Bans and walking on the airport is not there in helicopters. It's limited.
It's limited.
It's limited. It's there.
Do you wear uniforms? Do you wear uniforms like?
I used to when I was flying offshore and with the previous company. Present company, we don't wear uniform. In the area we fly in, other
Okay.
areas we do wear it.
Okay, so it's from one destination to one destination. That's a pretty short
Yeah.
period of time that you fly.
Helicopters are short distance, they're not meant for long
So
distance.
is that the only reason that people don't come forward to become a helicopter
No.
pilot?
They are not aware.
They are not aware.
They are not aware that the pay in helicopters and the flying conditions, operating conditions, if you draw via media, it's actually more comfortable than fixed wing. Because in India, helicopters don't operate by night except for mercy missions. So basically, you're not flying in the night. You're sleeping in a bed. You're flying only by day.
Okay.
Generally in good weather. Okay,
Okay.
bad weather flying happens. There's no doubt.
Okay.
Other than that, it's a much more comfortable flying. Except when you do something like VIP flights or private flights.
Okay.
Like offshore is as regulated as fixed wing. Fixed hours, comfortable, good money. Conditions, the only difference between helicopters are slightly more difficult to fly and more demanding on the pilot.
Okay. Okay.
But that's a pilot skill.
But what do you think as you see aeroplane pilots, commercial pilots are very stressed with the long hours and with the flying, and I think helicopter pilots have a relaxed kind of a,
it's got two sides to it.
Okay.
A commercial pilot does 2 landings an hour.
Okay.
Bombay offshore flying, we do up to 10 to 12 landings an hour. That's the difference.
Okay.
In much more taxing conditions.
Okay.
So actually a helicopter pilot flying offshore or in the mountains has to be more stressed.
Okay.
But somehow we are not because we're used to it. It's for it's part of life.
So do you have any fixed schedule or it's just unpredictable?
It depends on where you're flying. Like if you're flying offshore, it's like I said, it's flying in an airline. It's absolutely fixed and regulated. If you're flying in the hills, like where I do presently in Nagaland,
Okay.
it's again regulated depending on the airport watch hours. It's a scheduled service.
Okay.
That Monday is we go to place A, place B, place C, whatever.
Okay.
It's only if you're flying corporate, where you're at beck and call of the company or on short notice standby, or on VIP flights or election flying, that it's slightly, I won't call it it's unpredictable. The boss wants to go and the corporate or boss doesn't want to go. You come to the aircraft, no, the boss is not going.
Okay.
It happens very often. Election flying, you come to the aircraft, helipad clearance is not come, you are waiting, the politician, hey, captain, we have to go. They don't understand the intricacies of clearance not coming, helipad not being fit, weather, all that adds up to it.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's quite okay.
It's quite okay.
The stress is there
Okay.
if you can handle it.
Okay. I'm sure, as you said, that awareness is not there. That's why Wind Chasers promotes a lot of helicopter pilot training,
Another thing in helicopters is your family life is much more regulated. Because invariably, like I said, night flying hardly happens. If you operate from home base, daily you're home.
Okay.
Then in the helicopter industry per se, overall, we operate on rosters of 6 and 3 or equal time. So
Okay.
you might be flying for 6 weeks, next 3 weeks you get a chutti is a chutti. Or 4 weeks and 4 weeks chutti is a chutti. You are paid for the entire stretch.
Oh wow, that's nice. When you said about pay, what do you think the pay is?
Actually in helicopters more than in fixed wing.
It's more than the fixed wings?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I think this itself, a lot of youth does not know, the students does not
Because
know
you
about
become a
it.
captain in helicopter much faster than in a fixed wing.
Okay. Okay. How much it must be approximately? If you can just give me an approximate figure, so that our students know.
Helicopter pilots on an average, a fresher, will start anywhere about 2.5 lakhs a month.
As a fresher. And what is the demand right now? Would you feel the demand?
The demand far outstrips supply. There's
Okay.
a huge amount of shortage of pilots in the industry. Huge shortage.
Huge shortage of
Huge
helicopter
shortage.
pilots.
Yes.
So that means we have a lot of vacancies available,
Yes.
right?
Definitely.
Okay. Okay. That's really nice. And a lot of aspiring pilots feel, what is the difference between the training with the fixed wings as a helicopter pilot?
Helicopters are inherently difficult to fly till you get the hang of it. Once you get the hang of it, after getting airborne, the basics of flying remain the same. It's only the takeoff and the landing. But then we got a saying in aviation: to fly is heavenly, to be able to hover is divine. Helicopters you can hover, so it's divine.
It is. Do you like to tell us something really special, story of yours? When you're flying, something that is touched your heart.
Yeah. Long ago, I was flying in a glacier. We had done a medevac.
Okay.
A boy from the northeast.
Okay.
I just forgot about it also. Couple of years later, when I was transiting to the northeast, I'd gone to a unit. A guy suddenly saw me, went forward, came back. He asked somebody, who am I?
Okay.
And he came and caught my feet. Hey, what the hell are you doing in uniform? Okay, sir, 7 years back in the glacier, when I was almost dead, you had picked me up and brought me back. When you're talking to me, I had seen your face, I couldn't forget it.
Oh my God.
That touched me.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Wonderful. Wonderful. That's a very touching story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Captain, can you tell us about what is the step and processes to become a pilot, a helicopter pilot? What is the first step the student has to take after the 12th?
Actually, I have got a slightly different take on it. I prefer if a guy does a graduation and then comes into flying.
Okay.
For the simple reason, supposing tomorrow a person cannot fly for medical reasons or whatever, he's at least a graduate. Just a +2 is not enough. But assuming +2 is done, the process is the same as normal fixed wing flying. Your same medicals, your papers are the same except for the type, obviously.
Is the same DGCA classes, same subjects, what
classes,
they are going
same
to study?
subjects, everything is same except the type specific.
Type, technical specific?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which helicopter you're going to be flying.
Okay.
It's going to be of that, obviously. The only difference lies in helicopters. In India, we don't have any good helicopter schools. You perforce have to go abroad.
Yes.
The cost of training is also more. After coming back to India, you have to convert. We don't have type rating organizations in India.
Okay.
So again the student has to go abroad.
For type rating,
Yeah.
they have to go abroad to
Except
do
for two types studied in India, the Bell 412 and the ALH, which training happens in Bangalore.
Okay.
There is no TRT in India for helicopters. But what can be done and what normally is done is when you join a particular company,
Okay.
they will normally send you abroad for type rating on their type, and they normally in India average bond period is 3 to 5 years. They make you sign a 3 to 5 years bond
Okay.
with that company
Okay.
for whatever cost that depends, that one has to negotiate.
So you mean once he gets his license from
Yeah.
abroad, he can apply directly to the job,
Definitely.
right? And the company will send him for the type rating itself. So that's a quite easy process.
Yeah,
right?
and the company will pay for it normally, and they'll ask you to sign a bond, 3/5 years,
the
depending on the
company
company.
pays for the type
Yeah,
rating?
mostly.
Okay, they
They
cover.
mostly pay.
Okay, that's really nice. That's really nice. And what do you think the duration of this training
A
happens
type
for?
rating takes anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks.
And the program completes CPLH?
CPLS typically, school you go, I've known people who finished in 6 months.
In 6 months, they can finish?
I've known people who have done it, and I've known people who have taken up to a year or year plus also. It all depends on where you go and how much you pay
Which
up front.
country, and depends on the weather
Yeah.
and all this.
I have seen guys from South Africa, but maximum from Hawaii and the US.
I think that's the best place.
That is the fastest.
That's the best place.
That is the
yeah.
fastest.
And why do you think South Africa is a little slow in this? They take more than 6 months?
I really don't know why.
Okay.
But I have seen guys from the US coming back the fastest. Within a year, they come, convert their license, and that's
They
it.
get into the job. Okay, that's nice. That's nice. What do you think? What are the helicopter fleets which are available here?
In India, the biggest operators are single engines. Basically, the American Bells and the earlier Eurocopter, now Airbus Helicopters and Augusta Westland.
Okay, okay. And which helicopters do they train in? Usually Robinson?
Robinson, Schweizer are used for training, but in India, in Civil Street, only a few Robinsons operate. So
Okay.
there are some pilots who come from the US after training on say a Robinson 44,
Okay.
find a job directly in a 44 in India, keep flying the 44, build up hours, join somebody else, convert.
Okay.
But that is far in between because there are very few Robinsons in India. Maximum helicopters in India are the Bell 407, Bell 212, and Augusta 109,
Okay.
Augusta 119. Then we got the Eurocopter, and now the Airbus helicopters B3. B3, 130, 135, 145, very common.
Okay. Okay. That's nice. So how many hours do you think they need to build up, for the training? That's around approximately.
Again, when you come with a license like a fixed wing, you got very limited amount of flying.
Yes.
No operator, even if you endorsed as a PIC, no operator will launch you as a pilot in command. They will make you fly a co-pilot anywhere from couple of hundred to to almost 1,000 hours
Okay.
before they clear you to fly from the right seat. Helicopters, the PIC normally flies in the right seat. Some helicopters from the left seat.
Okay. Okay. That's
So no operator is going to let you. I have seen cases. People come, sir, but I'm endorsed on. You might be endorsed on license, friend. Till you get experience on the aircraft and on flying, you have to fly as co-pilot. People, that's one thing I have seen. A lot of student pilots find it slightly difficult. It's endorsed. I'm endorsed. It's like saying I'm endorsed with Cessna 152, so I can fly it anywhere. You can't. People have to accept it that they have to build up experience. Cockpit time is important, vital.
Okay.
Only then can they become a full-fledged captain.
Okay, Captain, I heard that it's, as a helicopter pilot, it's you land on the craziest places sometimes. Is this something that you have landed on some crazy
Yes,
place?
absolutely.
Like something?
In military flying, I landed on rooftops. I landed on docks.
Even on the oil?
No, oil platforms is in the civil street.
Okay.
I have picked up a guy without landing. We could not land. We were hovering about 2 feet above a rock, and the patient was pushed into the aircraft.
Oh,
That is in the armed forces, not in the civil street.
Okay.
In the civil street, the craziest place to land is on a moving ship at sea in monsoon, where the ship is moving, the winds are wonky, the sea is heaving, and the aircraft is also moving.
That sounds very adventurous
that
and
is
exciting.
That is interesting.
Yes, that is interesting and adventurous.
That is interesting. Because the margin of error is very less.
Okay, okay. How do you feel, most of the students, as I discussed to them about the helicopter training, the first thing comes in their mind is how safe it is.
Helicopters are inherently safe, as safe as a fixed wing.
Okay, okay. What is the career progression, Captain, in this?
Career progression is, see, helicopters, we can virtually land anywhere. A helicopter pilot is complete in his profession if he is endorsed at sea to land on an offshore platform and a ship, and in the hills. There are two things. Landing on an airfield is no big deal. It's landing on a small helipad like a matchbox in the middle of the hills or the middle of the sea. Till you have done that, you're not a complete pilot.
Okay, okay. So in this also, do you have first officers,
Yes.
second officer, then the captain?
I'll give a simple example. In offshore flying, offshore flying, the mandatory requirement of 400 hours of co-pilot before you become a captain.
Okay.
Even if you're from a naval background, unless you've got multi-engine experience in the Navy, this requirement is still fulfilled by Army and Air Force pilots also.
Okay.
Only then you become a full-fledged captain.
Okay. That's really nice.
Because you require the experience.
How many hours do you need to become a captain?
Where? In which field? Offshore.
Yeah.
Offshore, 400 hours co-pilot, 100 hours P1 US. This can be combined in your 400 hours and then you can become a captain. if the company finds you fit
Okay.
after your check sorties and everything.
Okay. And what's the age limit here?
There's no age limit.
There's no age
No age
limit.
limit.
Okay. So.
But again, the same thing, if you are very, very senior, say about 60 plus, nobody's going to give you a conversion.
Okay.
So the earlier you get in, and I told people who ask me also, it's best if you get into flying early, get all your stamps. Okay, I'm offshore qualified, I'm heli qualified, blah, 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 whatever, high altitude qualified, and then pick and choose.
Okay.
Because offshore flying is like route flying. You are 6 days, you've been ground 6 days a week with 1 weekly off, flying morning to evening or as per a roster, flying overnight or whatever. Corporate flying is you are at beck and call of the bosses. Some people like corporate flying. Personally, I don't think I can do it.
Okay.
Because whether you fly or not, if you are on duty just waiting, just in case the company wants you to fly, I have to be ready.
That's
Not
true.
for me.
That's true.
Not for me.
Do you think your job gets more hectic when the elections comes, especially
Yes.
for the VVIPs? And
Especially those flying commercial,
Okay.
not private.
Okay.
It's extremely hectic because I have flown up to 7 hours a day. And the only restraint was 30 hours a week. So after 4 days, we had to stop flying because we did not have flying hours. Because election time, the flying gets very hectic. Second is people who fly single engines in the hills, B3s and 407s, Kedarnath, Amarnath, this pilgrimage circuit.
Yes. Yes.
When the shrines open, again, that's a very, very, very hectic type of flying.
Okay. So you do this Kedarnath as
I
well?
don't do it. I don't fly that type of
Okay.
aircraft.
Okay. So it's very hectic during that time, right?
For them.
Okay.
Third type of flying we do in India very often is survey and underslung, carrying sensors below the aircraft. Again, that's quite tricky, quite tough because you're flying 5 to 6 hours a day with that thing below the aircraft. Maneuverability is less. Of course, they get paid extra for it. That's a different issue.
You get paid extra.
Much more.
Okay. Much more.
Much more.
Much more in the sense like how much? Would you mind telling us?
Nothing to hide.
Okay.
In the corporate world, a senior captain doing a roster of 6 on 3 off or whatever will still make up to 75 to 80 lakhs per annum, which is comparable or more than fixed wing.
That's
Because he's getting 3 weeks off every 6 weeks. So he's actually flying for 8 months but being paid for 12 months.
that's a huge amount.
Yes. He's actually flying only 8 months.
That's all.
Yeah. Maximum.
Maximum.
Some do equal
Maximum.
time. Like my present job, I do equal time. 4 weeks on, 4 weeks off.
You are on 4 weeks off and 4
4
weeks
weeks
off
on. Yes.
job. That's pretty relaxed.
Very relaxed. But I'm being paid for the full year.
Okay. Okay.
If I do overtime, which any company will be happy to make you do overtime, they pay you for it. The pay goes up drastically. Of course, I don't do overtime. That's a different issue. It's a personal choice. There are pilots who actually double their pay by flying overtime. They don't have requirements at all. Whatever. If you want to waste your time flying, you're willing to fly extra within the flying hour limit.
Okay.
Companies are willing to make you fly.
Okay. That's nice. That's really nice. You know,
It's big money. It's big money.
This is much needed awareness for our students.
It's big money.
Yes.
Like especially if you are a youngster, just come into flying. And I know 2 of them. They pay off the student loans prematurely by doing overtime flying. They are willing to fly 6 days of the week.
Okay.
They told the companies they're flying in, so we will fly extra as long as we are paid extra.
Because I've taken the loan.
Yeah.
Okay. So loans are possible for the students,
Yeah,
right?
student loans are possible.
Yes.
Advantage is you're flying overtime, you're single, nothing much to do at home. You're building up your flying hours, you're earning extra, paying off your loans, becoming independent earlier.
No, that's
Win-win for everybody.
That's what is needed.
And see, the company can't make you fly more than the maximum hours a week or a
Okay.
month.
Okay. And what
That-
is that maximum hours?
Same as fixed wing, 30 hours a week.
30 hours a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
You stick to that. Don't exceed your limits, FDTL, FTL limits. Earn extra money. It's your chutti ultimately. As long as you're getting your breaks as per the regulations. Fair enough.
That's really cool, you know. That's really
People
cool.
do
learning
it.
thing.
People do it in the offshore also.
Okay.
And they make good money.
Okay. How many pilots do you think India right now needs? Helicopter pilots.
At least, at the drop of a hat, couple of hundred to balance the industry out. So this overtime thing can stop.
Okay.
Because couple of decades back, when helicopter industry suddenly boomed, a lot of service pilots came into the industry
Okay.
who are all on that 60 plus or 62 plus bracket right now, about to retire.
Okay.
Replacements are not there. Because in India, the maximum input comes from the services, armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard. But even that is slowly reducing.
Okay.
So the shortage of pilots is phenomenal. Then I know so many pilots who don't want to fly. After, I want to chill.
I think by then they have made enough money.
I don't know. But I'm,
Isn't that-
but I'm
that's a
thinking of
fact.
it. But even I want to end the same way. I want to chill.
Yeah, that's what it said. They have made enough money and they want to relax.
No, because
now,
see,
you know?
helicopter
Early-
flying is much more physically taxing, much more demanding.
Okay.
Vibrations. Modern helicopters are fully air conditioned. The older ones were not air conditioned. We used to fly offshore in 35 degrees, 40 degrees on the east coast.
Okay.
It gets physically very, very taxing. Like in fixed wing, you take off, autopilot on, keep setting till you land. Just looking around. Helicopters, offshore, 10 landings an hour. You hardly get time in between. You just take off, finish your checks, do your checks, go and land.
And where do you think the students get placed? Are they very remote areas or it's in
Again,
city
all-
centers? How it is?
It all depends on the job you land. You go to corporate, corporates are all metro based.
Metro based.
Okay, they will have some small places outside where the bosses go. That's going to happen. Like he's got a hill station, a farmhouse, or a farmhouse on the beach. Like I know in Mumbai, a lot of corporate flying happens. Saturday, Sunday, pick up the boss, drop him in Lonavala, or drop him to some place on the Konkan coast because they've got a farmhouse over there and come back.
That's all.
That's corporate flying. Or Bombay to Aurangabad, Nasik, all these industrial areas. From Delhi, around Delhi, similarly.
All corporate flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The flip side is there are helicopters based in Chhattisgarh, Naxalite areas,
Okay.
operated by the industry for their requirements. But you're compensated. So now it all depends on the type of job you land
Okay.
and where the company is based. Offshore flying is a totally different ballgame. Offshore flying, it's almost 75% from Mumbai only, and only airports along the coast where oil rigs are operating. It can be short duration, long duration.
Okay, that's nice. That's
But it's quite comfortable. You get comfortable accommodation.
Okay.
Flying is regulated.
okay. The accommodation, everything is taken care of by the company, I guess.
Yeah, always.
Yes.
Always.
Right. Can you name few companies which are there in India who hires helicopters?
Biggest helicopter
pilots?
operators in India are only three.
Okay.
Pavanance is a PSU,
Pawan Hans.
Global Vectra, my
Global
ex-company,
Vectra.
old company,
Okay.
and Helico Charters.
Okay.
These three are the biggest helicopter operators in India.
Okay.
Out of the three, Global is the biggest.
Okay.
And they operate both onshore and offshore.
Okay. So this flying happens only in India. Like what is the, if at all students wants to, the candidate wants to go abroad and do the same career, what
Yeah.
are the opportunities they have there?
Lot of pilots from my batch or my friends did a ATPL helicopters and are
Okay.
flying in the Gulf.
Oh,
They are flying in Africa.
okay.
They are flying in South America.
Okay. So there's a vast ocean out there as
Huge
well. It's
market
just-
for helicopter pilots.
It's just not India.
If you are well experienced and rounded off with offshore and hill experience.
Okay.
These are the two keys.
Well, experience means how many hours do you think that will be best for them to apply abroad?
Anything more than 5,000 hours
More than 5,000 hours? Is that?
and 100% ATPL, because abroad for an offshore commander, offshore flying, you have to have ATPL.
Okay.
In India, it's not mandatory. In India, it's weight based.
Okay.
Heavy aircraft and medium aircraft and light aircraft. So it's you get a ATPL, get your offshore captaincy, build up your experience, get your hill ops, build up your experience, and go abroad.
So you mean to say when you said ATPL, is it the same as in
Papers are same.
The same. Everything is same.
All that
There's
is
nothing
same.
different. It's
Nothing,
just the
nothing
aircraft.
different. Nothing different. Type of aircraft. That's all.
There's a type of aircraft. Okay. That's
Same exam, same viva, same everything. Same waiting for the results. Not
Okay.
knowing whether you passed or failed.
I know. Do you get sometimes calls like for emergencies, for the medicals, like any accidents, something like that? Does that happen in India?
It
Like
hap-
we see it a lot abroad, right?
It happens
How much
in
India?
India. We don't have a proper air medical coverage system anywhere. Somebody tried it a couple of years back, but it failed very badly because helicopters are very expensive to operate, almost 5 times more than a fixed wing.
Okay.
Common man cannot afford it. Abroad, it's mostly covered by insurance, so people manage. Of course, in India, like I fly for the government of Nagaland presently, at times there's a road accident or something, the state government sends a requisition and we do go and pick up patients. But it's not like in the US or in Europe that helicopters land in the middle of the night to pick up somebody. That does not happen.
That doesn't happen
That
at
doesn't
all in
happen.
India. It's not possible.
Maximum is okay, you just go to accident site, find a suitable place, land, pick up patients and come. I've done that in Nagaland also.
Okay.
That's absolutely one off.
Okay. So you have been part of any rescue operations?
Uttarakhand, in the civil street,
Okay.
we took a Bell 412 and I can confidently say among civil helicopters, we picked up the highest number of evacuees from the hills in ML 412.
Okay. So this kind of things,
Yeah, we have done
government definitely,
Plus, normal medical rescues is very common.
Okay.
Say, like in the hills, there are no runways. So, Nagaland or Arunachal I flew earlier. It's only a helicopter. You just go there, pick up a patient, bring him down. Many times, fixed wing is waiting. You land on the airport, patient is out of the helicopter, into the fixed wing, off to Delhi or wherever. That happens very often.
Captain, do you know what is the approximate cost for the training? If it is done in India, as you said, India did not have much
India,
schools, right?
HAL had a school which shut down.
Okay.
So when people go abroad, for what I would say, close to 1 crore.
Okay.
It would include type rating, you're going, coming, staying there, the works.
Okay. At least 1 CR is
Yeah.
going to take, right?
Same as fixed wing, slightly more.
Do we have any cadet programs for this as well?
In India, no,
No, not at all.
nothing.
No. Okay. It's all conventional way itself.
Conventional. Right now, the only option out is because we don't have TRTOs in India. What couple of the big operators do, like a service pilot joins them from services. He can't do a skill test in India because Indian service aircraft are not flying the civil. So the company says, okay, we'll take a sanction. You pass your type paper, join us. We'll send you abroad for your type rating and skill test on which you'll get your CHPL, CPLH.
Okay. Captain, do you think helicopter pilots, their health gets affected in any ways?
It gets affected in a lot of ways because helicopters, the biggest enemy of pilot is vibrations and the spine.
Okay.
So helicopter pilots in general do face spinal issues if they're not careful. There's no air conditioning except in modern helicopters.
Okay.
So that temperature variation or extreme temperatures again affect health.
How do you feel you're still working, you're still going
I-
on, you're still young, you know?
I still do a bit of exercise every day to keep my back supported, back strong. It's a must. Neck,
So you keep yourself very healthy
you have to keep
and
yourself
fit.
You have to keep yourself fit.
Okay. And even the food which you take, all those
That
things.
is individual.
important.
That is individual.
Okay.
But meal times, like, okay, you don't have a cabin crew. You're doing sorties in the election times at all hours. You have to make sure you carry your food with you because you don't know where your next meal is going to come from. It actually happens. People might say whatever they want to, but you land at some isolated helipad. The politician has gone for his rally. There's nobody at the helipad to look after you except yourself.
Okay. So you carry your food yourself sometimes?
Yes, always.
Always?
Election
Always?
flying, you always carry your food and drinks with you in the aircraft.
Okay. Okay. That's a little surprising to me.
A helicopter pilot will carry his food and his bedding with him at all times.
Okay.
Overnight is always there.
So what do you usually you cook and you carry yourself like you?
I carry overnight
Or the
or-
company provides a packed food for you.
No, we take when leaving the hotel in the morning. I have, as a rule, carry my packed lunch with me and an overnighter with me,
Okay.
always.
Is the conversion same as it is, for the CPL as well for this? Is it going to be a little hassle as the students face right now in
It should not be hassle. The only problem is schools are not there, so you perforce have to go abroad for a conversion.
Okay,
So you pass your papers here, go abroad, do your flying, come back, get the paperwork done. That's it.
that's it.
It will cost slightly more, take some more time.
How much? How is the license valid for? How long is the license valid for?
Same as fixed wing, no changes.
No changes. At
No
all.
changes.
Okay. Do you need to do your medicals regularly?
Same again as fixed wing,
Same
no
thing,
changes.
same
Up
as
to
how
60
it
every
is?
year. After
Okay.
60 every 6 months.
Okay. Anything that you want to talk about medical? Anything
Like I
that
said
you're
earlier,
aware?
it takes a toll of the body. So you have to be ready to you have to make an endeavor to keep yourself fit.
Okay.
Because once you start getting spinal issues and all, and if you do face issues, go to a doctor in time, don't hide it because ultimately it's your health.
Yes.
Your spine, your back.
No, the initial phase of class 1, class 2 medicals, even that is going to be the same
That's it.
as it is.
There's no difference.
Is there any particular myths that you would like to clear for the students, like glasses and all? Usually
No.
we have those things.
Military flying is different, but civil flying, all the medical rules of fixed wing and helicopters are identical. There's no difference.
identical.
There is no difference.
Okay. It's the same.
Absolutely none.
Okay.
But if you have a back issue, my recommendation, or neck issue, my recommendation is do not opt for helicopters. You'll only aggravate it.
Okay. What do you think future of helicopters are in India?
Future is bright and bleak both. Bright because people are getting aware
Okay.
Bleak because of drones. Because a drone can do almost everything helicopter does except carrying people.
Okay.
So many roles like crop dusting, agricultural spraying, pipeline surveys, which were earlier done by helicopters, are now going to drones because the cost is significantly lesser
Okay.
and efficiency is far more.
Okay.
That's why helicopters are lost out, but they are slowly gaining traction, but not as much as it should have. Again, regulations, cost, awareness.
Awareness is much needed in this industry,
Yes.
I guess. Isn't it? Yeah.
Like if you see, other than corporate flying, the biggest market we have got today is actually absurd. If you go to North and Western India, today the shadi market for helicopters is huge.
Shadi.
शादी
yeah,
में फूल
coming
गिराना,
to that.
हाँ,
Shadi,
शादी में
the
फूल
dulha
गिराना,
always comes
Yes.
in a helicopter.
फूल गिराना या दूल्हा या दुल्हन come in the helicopter or go in the helicopter.
Okay.
That's a very, very big market today. The bride coming in helicopter and both of them fly over in the helicopter also has happened.
Okay.
It happens.
And that's fun. That's fun. I think
See,
lot of,
as long as safety is kept in mind, people are willing to pay.
yes.
Helicopter can do it.
Yes, that's true. So this is also one part of career.
It's actually in certain areas money making. North India, yes. Western India, yes.
Okay, because I've heard lot
It's
of
not so prevalent in South India.
yeah,
But Maharashtra, Punjab, Gujarat, it happens a lot.
a lot. Yeah, I see a lot of youngsters, proposing a girl with a helicopter.
It happens a lot.
throwing flowers. That's something.
See, the thing is, again, the cost.
Yeah,
If you don't have a helicopter nearby, you are going to pay for the helicopter to come from
the other city.
wherever it is.
Okay.
That itself costs a hell lot.
Okay.
Because helicopters are meant for short distance and they're not meant for long distance.
Okay.
That is the difference.
Do you want to give any suggestion or for the youngsters who are now passing out from the 12th or finishing their degrees for the career in this helicopter?
Helicopter flying
Pilot.
is equally lucrative or at times even more than fixed wing.
Okay.
The glamour quotient is less,
Okay.
but it is there. It's a different type of flying.
Okay.
You can make money, you can build a future on it.
Okay.
The only drawback, no schools in India. If you can overcome that, go abroad, do your training and come. Jobs are waiting.
Jobs are waiting.
Jobs are
okay.
waiting.
But there are a lot of flying schools coming abroad as well, in South Africa as well, quite economical, I feel they are coming up with.
That
Yeah.
economy wise has, I would say individuals to work out with the school, how
Yes.
much does he have to pay, and
Yes.
that I cannot comment on.
So there are jobs waiting for the
Jobs are
students.
waiting. Jobs
It's
are waiting.
And that too with a very good pay, more
Yeah.
than the,
Especially starting pay.
Yeah.
And in helicopters, you become a PIC faster than fixed wing.
Okay.
And corporates pay, like I said, upwards of 70 lakhs per annum. And on a roster.
Okay.
Another thing is helicopter flying is seasonal. That's a very big thing. Monsoons,
It's
private
seasonal.
private helicopters, corporates, monsoons normally they hardly fly.
Achha.
They are good with the pilots, good with the flyers.
Okay.
Not like fixed wing that बारिश भी हो रहा है फिर भी वो ILS पे जा रहा है, take off कर रहा है, आ रहा है. Helicopters doesn't happen. So it's slightly more peaceful.
That's really nice. That's really nice.
So काम तनख्वाह भी मिल रही है, काम भी नहीं है.
How's your regular day, Captain? Like when you're
At
the
work,
job? Okay.
presently it is absolute peace because the place I operate from, Dimapur Airport, has got limited watch hours. We run a scheduled flights from there. So you get up in the morning, go for a walk, have your breakfast. Normally on an average day, we leave the room at 8:30 after breakfast. And we're back for lunch by 2:30.
Okay.
That's my normal day.
That's a very relaxed.
That's my normal day.
Okay. Okay, that's really relaxed.
2 or 3 sectors. If you do more than 3, say 4 sectors, then you have a lunch in the office. They get your lunch over there. But by evening you're back.
Okay. That's pretty relaxed. And that means you're going to work for 4 months or 3 months and then take a break? Or
No,
how
I
does
do
it
4
work?
weeks on, 4 weeks off.
4 weeks on and 4 weeks off.
Yes.
That's really nice. That's really nice. Yeah. Thank you so much for
Oh, it was
coming
a
down for
pleasure.
us at Winches's and giving this insights. This is very much important for this youth.
It was a pleasure. Hopefully it'll make people come into helicopters also.
Yes.
And
yes.
not look at it as a stepmotherly sort of flying.
Yes, yes. Winches is trying to create this awareness among the youth. Let's see how things goes on. And thank you so much once again for coming down for the show.
My pleasure.